from 16 views, and today we're going to be answering the question, is the Apple Watch Series 3 worth it in 2021? Roll the intro. The Apple Watch Series 3 came out in September of 2017. That's almost 3.5 years ago, and we're on the Series 6. And yet Apple is still selling the Series 3 on their website for $200, which is a pretty good deal, but is it worth it in 2021? This video is going to be broken down into 3 parts: a review of the Series 3, a breakdown of the other options you have for Apple Watch, and then finally, is it worth it for you to buy the Apple Watch Series 3 in 2021? I'm going to have the time stamps below if you want to skip around, but let's get into it. I've had the Apple Watch Series 3 for a little over the year now. I previously had a Fitbit Ionic and eventually just randomly bit the dust one day, and I decided it was finally time to switch over to Apple Watch and see what all the hype was about. Let me just tell you, the hype is valid. The hype is very, very valid. First of all, we gotta talk about build quality. Apple just knows how to design and build great products. The aluminum chassis is smooth and doesn't scratch very easily. The glass back where the heart rate sensor is very comfortable, and it doesn't really dig into your wrist too much. And I really love how nice the transition is from the glass face to the aluminum body. You have a side button and the digital crown, which are used to interact with most aspects of the watch. You use the digital crown for scrolling through menus and stuff like that. Once in a while, when I have an especially tough workout, one where I sweat a lot, I notice that the digital crown isn't as smooth anymore, probably because some sweat gets into the mechanism and then the water evaporates, leaving just some salt there, slowing down the gears or whatever. But if you just run it under some warm water and spin the crown a few times, it's as good as new. And yes, you can use this in water. It's water resistant up to 50 meters, so swimmers, this is a great watch for you. I brought my watch into the pool all the time last summer, and besides getting a pretty bad tan line, I never had any issues with it. Just make sure you turn on the water mode so your screen isn't registering any false touches from the water. I would be careful bringing this into salt water because salt water and technologies doesn't mix well. The salt water like corrodes the circuit boards and everything, so I'd be careful bringing it into like a saltwater pool or the ocean, but like a freshwater lake or just any other regular sort of pool, I think you're gonna be completely fine. The silicone band that it comes with is really easy. I mean, there's a ton of third-party options, and you can get a ton of other options on Apple's website, though they are very expensive. But it's very simple, it's good for working out, it's pretty easy to take on and off once you kind of get the muscle memory down. I mean, when you first take it out of the box, you might have a little trouble, but that's like any watch, you always gotta figure out how to put on the band. But after a little bit, you should be completely fine. Just in general, Apple did a great job with the design of the Apple Watch. We've gone through the hardware of the Apple Watch, but what about the software? This has been a really mixed bag for me, but I'll touch on that in a second. If you've never had an Apple Watch before, you're gonna be so happy with this thing. Just the fact that you can respond to messages even when you aren't close to your phone, just if you're connected on Wi-Fi. You have Siri at your wrist all the time. You can ask Siri to do any Siri things. You can connect your AirPods to your Apple Watch and play music off your Apple Watch if you have Apple Music. And then of course you have access to a ton of apps at your wrist, so you don't necessarily have to pick up your phone all the time to do certain things like check the weather, check your messages, see if you have a notification, stuff like that. You have a ton of watch faces that you can choose from, but I really wish Apple didn't make watch faces model specific. Like, some of the new watch faces that are on, the Series 5 and 6 look so cool, and I wish I could use them, but I can't because Apple limits you to watch faces only on your specific device. So I wish Apple would change that, but Series 3 does have some good faces that you can customize to your liking. One of my favorite things though about the Apple Watch is definitely how good the health tracking is. I really like how Apple did the whole rings and your goal. On Fitbit, your main goal was usually your step count. So I could have a very active day because I biked, let's say 15 miles, but I wouldn't hit my goal because biking doesn't get you any steps. Whereas on Apple Watch, you close your goals by standing for a minute every hour, that's the blue ring, having a certain amount of exercise time, which is the green ring, and then the move ring is burning amount of calories while exercising or doing any sort of activity. This isn't overall calories that you burn in a day, but active calories. Another nice thing about the Apple Watch is it does have a built-in GPS. So if you want to go on a walk or a run or a hike, you can leave your phone at home and you'll still get an accurate distance that you walked or whatever. On your Apple Watch, you have the activity app, which shows you your rings and that kind of stuff, but you also have the health app. And the health app is actually kind of underrated, not gonna lie. Like, you get some pretty cool features in it, along with a ton of other stuff that is really kind of useless, but it is kind of cool to see. I'm a very stats-oriented person, so I always really like seeing it, all those stats and metrics and all that kind of stuff, so it's kind of cool for me to look at. Now, I did say the software was kind of two-sided. I got the Apple Watch and it was great. It was snappy, it was fast, but 4 or 5 months down the road, I really noticed that it started slowing down a lot. Animations were glitching out, it would take way longer to open apps. It was having some issues. When I did update to watchOS 7, it speeded up the animations a little bit, but 2 weeks later, it was back to being slow and bogged down and everything like that. So now let's get into part 2 of this video, and that's looking at the other options you have for Apple Watch. Currently on Apple's website, they have 2 other options, which are the Series 6, and that is their newest, highest end Apple Watch, and then the Apple Watch SE, which goes for $280. I'm assuming since you're researching if it's worth getting a Series 3 in 2021, you probably want to save some money, and so we're just going to throw the Series 6 out the window considering it's double the price. So let's look at the SE. It's $280, which is only $80 more than the Series 3. It doesn't have any of the high-end features of the Series 6 like the ECG and the blood oxygen monitor, but it does carry over the newer screen that it's more edge-to-edge and makes the screen a little larger on a smaller body. As you may know, there are 2 sizes of Apple Watch. On the Series 3, there's the 38mm and the 42mm. The 42mm is $230. And then on the newer Apple Watches with the larger screens, there is the 40mm and the 44mm. First of all, I would not recommend getting the 38mm. It's just, the screen is too small, and I do regret buying the 38mm. But if you look at it, the screen on the 42mm of the Series 3, the larger one, is actually roughly the same size as the 40mm on the SE, the smaller one. So the bigger version of the Series 3, which is 430, and the smaller version of the SE, which is 480, roughly have the same screen. So really the difference in price is only $50. So besides a larger screen, what else are you getting on the SE? You're getting the 2nd generation heart rate sensor, which will give you more accurate readings. You're getting fall detection, as well as noise monitoring, which will monitor your surroundings and your environment and let you know if the environment is a little too loud and could cause ear damage. You also get an improved mic and speaker on the Apple Watch, and of course you get the new and, in my opinion, much better watch faces that are reserved for the newer Apple Watches. Most importantly though, the Apple Watch SE ships with the S5 chip over the S3 chip in the Series 3, and according to Apple, this chip is supposed to be up to 2 times faster, which means that the SE is going to be substantially faster than the Series 3, which I think is the biggest deal of them all. Think about it. If the Apple Watch Series 3 is already starting to slow down, if you're getting it now, you're most likely going to have that watch for 2 or 3 years. In 2 or 3 years, the chip is going to be so outdated that it's going to be painful to use. So, part 3 of the video. Do I recommend getting the Series 3 Apple Watch in 2021? You probably see where I'm going with this. No, I do not. Even if I did recommend the Series 3, I wouldn't recommend the $200 38mm. I'd say spend the extra $30 and go to the 42mm. If you're already getting the $230 42mm Series 3, you're only $50 away from the SE, and you're gonna get a better screen, better battery life, and most importantly, it's gonna last you much longer because the chip is better and it's not gonna slow down on you in 3 or 4 months. So save up a little more money and go for the SE. I promise you aren't gonna regret it. I really hope you found this video helpful and I helped you out with your buying decision. And in the end, this is your choice, not mine, so you can have your own opinion. But if you did have any questions, I hope this video helped you out. If you did enjoy the video, it would mean so much if you did subscribe to the channel and gave this video a like. And if you really want to be amazing, if you wanted, you could comment on this video, which would help me out a lot and help this video gain traction as well as just my channel in general. I'm John from 16 Views. Have a great day. See ya.